Hi, this little video is about breathing. So if you've been looking at some of the posts that have been coming up on maybe as you scroll through Facebook or Instagram, there's a lot of things about breathing and stress and how the challenge of COVID has affected our lower backs feeling pain, shoulders feeling pain, neck feeling pain. We're sitting a lot more looking at screens. So this little video is just to teach you one little way of helping you find some stress relief and calming your breathing and helping your back feel that it doesn't need to tighten up, or your jaw. So this is your chest bone. So have your little fingers here coming, find your collarbone and find your chest bone where all your ribs meet, and then come down to the end of your chest bone and you'll find that's where your ribs meet here. Yes, the lower ribs. And just come off your ribs and you'll find it's quite squishy there. There's a lot of abdominals going on there. A lot of abdominal stuff going on, the connections here and fascia here. So if you can find that squishy bit, you don't have to do it sitting down, you can do it lying down or you can do it standing. And if you start to press around here, you might find that some of it feels a bit tender, like you're pressing on a bruise. So it's the first time you've done this, and lying down it will be a lot easier with your knees bent and with the back of your neck long. And allow a little bit of pressure to be here with your fingers, as if you're just trying to press down towards your spine. So there's not a huge amount of pressure, you're not going, huh. It's just about maybe 20% of pressure. So breathe into your fingers, and then as you breathe out, you gently press down, as if you're trying to tuck underneath your ribs, like tucking a sheet under the mattress. So breathing in to your fingers, so your fingers press out, and you exhale and your fingers press down. So you're not actively pushing your fingers out, it's your breath that's doing that. Now as I do this, I notice that this side is a little bit more tender than this side. I tend to sit like that. I tend to have more of a lean on this side, so this side gets a little bit more compressed, this side gets tighter. So that's primarily the side that I'm interested in, and I find that if I come around here underneath my ribs, it's a little bit tender around here as well. So play around with it and find for you where it feels that you might need to focus on a little bit more. It doesn't mean you've got to press more, it just means that you might need to do a little bit more breathing on that side. You might need to come away from this side. And it will just help you find some relief and release in your tight diaphragm. If the diaphragm is compressed around here or feeling then what it's doing is when it becomes tight like this, or it becomes facilitated is the word I'm looking for, but it becomes facilitated, it tends to down-regulate, and the abdominals become inhibited, so they don't work as well, which means that your lower back might need to take up the slack of trying to find some stability for your spine. So your lower back will feel tight, or your jaw will feel tight, or your neck will feel tight. You might find that you might lift your chin quite a little bit. If you're looking at the screen and you're doing this quite a lot, your habit will be to tighten up the back of your neck. And that could create issues down here in your abdominals. So once you've done that for a couple of minutes, you put your hands on the lower belly to find between your navel and your pubic bone. Just tap around there for a moment. And then place your hands there and breathe into your hands. And if you find this really tricky, then try it lying down on your back with your knees bent. And if you find it hard to keep your chin down in that position when you're lying on your back, put something underneath your head like a pillow or a cushion to keep the neck long at the back. And then say do 5 to 10 repetitions of your breathing, of your breath into your lower belly, and then come back up here and see if this has changed, if it feels any different. And repeating it again. So check that when you're doing this, that you're not over pressing with your fingers. You don't really want to tighten up the joints in your fingers. Don't want to put any pressure on your finger joints or in your wrists or in your shoulders, and your jaw stays relaxed. And you might find as you do this, you're calming down the nervous system, so you might find a bit of gurgling going on, which is good. and then come back to tapping your lower belly, and then place your hands there and breathe into your hands. And the tapping and breathing into your hands, having your hands here, is just an awareness for your brain to notice where you want it to breathe into, where you want that breath to go into. And when you get used to this, when you're practicing this for a while, you won't need the hands there, you won't need to tap, you'll just feel it. But most of us have lost that sensation. We're just disconnected from our bodies so much. We're so much into the screens now and worrying about things and stressing about things that the feeling of trying to breathe into your belly is quite a tricky thing to focus on at first. And that's okay. So you can get used to it. And if you practice that at least a couple of times a day, you'll find that you'll start to breathe a little bit more into the ribs, will move a little bit more. You'll get a little bit, here will become a little bit more freer. You won't be so stuck, it won't feel so tight. So your ribs will move more as you breathe, and you'll get this expansion, this feeling of space inside the body, of widthwise space, right and left side, but also front and back. And so you feel that you'll be able to breathe into the back of the body as well. So you don't feel so tight and cramped and congested. Okay, so happy practicing. Take care.